Good morning and welcome to You Have Beauty Care Choices. I'm Jennifer Coy and today's show is all about Biolage. Biolage from Matrix has been around for years. It is a worldwide known brand and we have Michale Albor, the creative director from Biolage with us today. Welcome to the show, Michale. Hello.
Hello, I'm so excited to be here with you, Jennifer, today.
I'm so excited to see your talents. I've followed some of your work and I know you show off your skills worldwide. Tell us a little bit about why you've chosen to work with Biolage.
Well, like you just said, Biolage has been around for a really, really long time, and I actually started my career working behind the camera, actually, before I started working in a salon, doing editorial shoots and fashion shoots. And I started using Biolage out in Miami, Florida, you know, in the sun and the humidity and things like that. And it made my life so easy because the basic core principle of Biolage is to have products that make hair effortlessly to be able to style.
Absolutely. Performance is priority, and we want products that work behind the chair, especially when you're doing editorial and stage work. It's so important. So let's see a little collage of all of Biolage. Biolage is a very large brand. It is now kind of its own brand aside from the Matrix core brand. So that's kind of a new change with Biolage. And they have kind of some like core performing products. So let's talk about what is your favorite shampoos or kind of your most prescribed shampoo in the core brand?
Well, you know, Jennifer, what I think about, especially as a stylist behind the chair and dressing hair each day and teaching clients how to dress their own hair, I think it's so important to teach them how to dress their own hair, that the foundation is basically what we call priming the hair. You know, what type of shampoo and conditioner that we're going to use. Like if you have super, super, super coarse hair, you might want to use something like our Smooth Proof shampoo, which has camellia flower and keeps your hair for 72 hours smooth and polished, right? So if you're trying to condense really, really coily hair to make it smooth and polished, that's a go-to. If you have not a lot of density of hair and you need volume, then you would use something like our Volume Bloom, which uses cotton flower as its inspiration and leaves the hair 70% more full and ready to like style, you know, and make it really great. Yeah, and then we also have, for those people who have a lot of fadeage with color, because we know that as hairdressers myself, I love color addicts, right? And I'm doing a lot of strawberry blondes right now in the salon and warm tone blondes, and I love it. So nothing makes their hair last better than Color Lash shampoo. It gives you that 9 weeks of vibrancy to your color. And right now, you know, like I'm from Miami, Florida, where we always need hydration in our hair, right? But up here, where I am in the Northeast, it's getting towards, you know, like unfortunately the summer is winding up really, really quickly, right? And kids are getting ready to go back to school. And here, unfortunately, the heat gets turned on, right? And hair gets really, really dry and porous, right? So if you have really dry and porous hair, or if it's from the environment that it's making it dry and porous, nothing is better than Hydrosource. And it leaves your hair 15% times more moisturized after one use of the shampoo and conditioner. And then we also have a great balm that's an add-on that we'll talk about a little bit later because we have a great new all-in-one scrub that people are going to just die for.
Yeah, we're going to save that for last. There's a new product launch that's just kind of come out, a kind of a segment. You might know one product in the segment, but they're expanding it. And so we're going to tease you with that and show and share that after we've seen some demos. So definitely, you're coming to us from Massachusetts, right? If I remember.
Yep, I'm in Massachusetts right now. Yeah,
Up in the cold, yeah. And so people don't sometimes recognize with the change of seasons, you know, your hair can go drier or cooler. And so maybe if one product works for you through the summer, so a lot of times if I'm adding color to my hair, I'll want Color Last through the summer. But believe it or not, it's the winter that my hair gets really dry. And so I switched to Hydrosource, which is kind of an interesting thing, huh?
Yeah, and that's the main thing here, right? So like up north, what happens is we turn on all the heat and it dries out everybody's hair while they're working in an office, right? Or they're home or they're at school, right? So then you would want to change those products all of the time, right? And then our second thing that we think about, because I'm going to do some great demos for you today,
Yeah.
because I think it's really important, especially when we're speaking to consumers, that we also teach them how to use products, right? Because a lot of times we don't teach clients how to use a product. So I want to do a little bit of that for you today. But each time I blow dry hair, after I prime the hair and I picked the right priming products and shampoo and conditioner, whether I have to smooth or add volume to the hair or hydration, then the next thing I have to do is really think about what style aids are going to make my life a lot easier to style that hair, and especially all of you on a daily basis, like what are you using in your hair and why, right? So one of my go-to products right now is something called Dry Lotion. I love this product. It's a smoothing, polishing blow-dry cream that what it does is it gives you two things. It helps you polish the hair, but it also gives you what we call the ability to have slip in the hair. So that's the ability to pull the brush through the hair as you're blow drying the hair, and then just a little bit amount of body. And you know, Jennifer, consumers get really, really confused about things that are foams and things that are creams, right? And so when we're using a blow dry cream in the hair, it's going to give us what we call slip, right? And then amount of body, right? Then after I put this product on, then I'll go to a foam. And we have two really, really great foams within the Biolage core products. One is our whipped and one is our hydrofoam, and they're self-explanatory, right? Our hydrofoam is really, really going to be great for those people that have dry hair, and then our whipped is really great for people that need to really create ultimate height and volume, right? So I'm not a proponent. I know a lot of people like to cocktail products, but for me, what I like to do is layer them in. So in using the dry lotion first and combing it from scalp to ends, I'm layering in moisture and body. Then I'm going to apply the foam on top of that to lift the hair and give it style retention all day long and kind of seal that hair. So that's how I blow dry this mannequin.
So I love her red hair. What is her name for the sake of the show? Do we have a name for her?
We have a name for her, and what I'm going to call her is Red Poppy, because we're going to get into that a little bit later in our color bombs. You know, like redheads, unfortunately, are like the fastest fading of all of the colors because it's a smaller molecule within the hair. And we have a great product we're going to talk about a little bit later on that's going to help you keep the vibrancy of your red hair, whether it's copper or whether it's super red like this one.
So Poppy's hair, we started probably more with the smooth proof shampoo and conditioner, but you're gonna prime it, and the choosing your right shampoo and conditioner is kind of setting the foundation. Then you're choosing your styling aids that's going to actually build and help make your style hold and make it easier to do your style at home. I love your layering concept where you're not mixing all of the products together, but in a sense it is cocktailing, but it's more like making the drink in layers, you know, like a fine martini maybe, that not shaken but just layered in the glass. So right now, what is our demo? Our first one with Poppy, we're using the mousses and the thermal active spray. So are we going to do a flat iron on her?
We're going to flat iron her hair straight, because I think it's a really misconception on we don't teach people how to flat iron their hair properly, right? Yeah. So one thing I wanted to really do for everyone today is really teach them how I flat iron hair and some of the best practices for doing that. Yes. So the great thing about Biolage is when you look at all of our products and all of our bottles, the first thing that I need to tell you is that's how far away that you want to spray the product, okay? It's 4 to 6 inches, the length of the bottle. So that's a really, really important thing to know, because you don't want to spray too close and you don't want to spray this product too far. Anything that comes in a pump in Biolage means that it has a workable dry down time. And that means that we can work with the product as we're applying it to the hair. So this one is called Thermal Active Setting Spray, and it's fantastic because what it's going to do is it has a shine based in it. As anybody's ironed clothes before with a little moisture, a little starch, they'll know how these products work. I know young people don't iron clothes anymore, but basically that's what we're doing to the hair. So the moisture in this and the shine is going to give us the slip to polish it, but it has a little bit of starch in it. And what the starch is gonna do is make it so it's not too flat and not too flyaway, okay? So after I spray this on, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in with my flat iron all the way to the base of her hair or your hair, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over and over it. Then what I'm gonna do is place a comb underneath the hair, and in 3-inch increments, I'm gonna go down the hair. Because normally what I see people do when they flat iron hair is they'll get to the middle and then they'll just pull the iron down. And they're not giving that product and the heat from the iron enough time to really flatten and silken that hair out. So I've done that already on most of the mannequin. And I'm
now,
just
Michael, would the texture of the hair matter here? I mean, what if you were dealing with really fine hair? I know the product has a thermal protection in it, but would you still be confident to do that many passes?
Okay, I would. Because think about it. I'm using the product to help me protect the hair from the heat of the iron, but I'm also using the system of going over and over the hair. So think about your hand over a flame, right? If you keep moving your hand, you're not going to scorch your hand. If you leave it there, then you're going to scorch it, right?
Okay.
So what we want to do is we also want to make sure that we keep on moving that iron all the way down the hair. And the ends of the hair need more, right? Because that's where the hair's more compromised. You know what I mean? We're all hopefully like at the gym.
Frayed.
Yeah. And we're like working out more and we're shampooing our hair more. We're unfortunately abusing it more. So we want to make sure that we really polish those ends. We're really even going in with our thermal active on both sides. Now, one thing that you just asked, which I love, because it's so important, different textures, right? So if I'm going from like a fuzzy type to a curly type to a coily type, this is all super great way for me to polish the hair. If I'm working with super fine hair, we have another product called Finishing Spritz, which is super awesome, that has a lot more starch in it. So it's going to help me get a lot more texture for those people out there with finer hair. That'll be your go-to, and we're going to use that in a second to curl the hair. But I want to show you now that we've gone through that thermal active. It protects the heat up to 450 degrees of your iron, right?
What heat setting do you normally have your flat irons at?
So normally, and this is a thing that everybody has slightly a different opinion on sometimes, and if you have those pinks in your hair and baby blues, you might want to set the iron a little bit lower. For me personally, because I know I have the thermal active inside the hair, I like to usually keep my iron on the highest setting and use the thermal active to protect the hair, because then if it's at a lower setting, I'm actually having to go over the hair more and more to get it polished, right? So I actually have to do less passes doing it if I have a higher setting and I just keep moving that iron.
So that really is the product protecting the hair, because I always tell people, especially people with finer hair, the highest setting is kind of dangerous for people at home. But Michael is, I mean, a platform artist. He does this every day. So he is teaching you his techniques behind the chair, but product is key here. You need that product to protect the hair shaft, or you are going to fry out your cuticle.
Yes, and I think that technique is everything, right? And that's what you're getting to. So that's where people have different ideas of where to put the temperature. I'm able to keep the temperature super high because I'm using that product, which is super key, and also the technique of moving the iron and watching what happens to the hair, right?
Yes. It was an interesting technique. I really enjoyed that.
Awesome. So I want to show you a quick little second day style, right?
Okay.
Because I think now all the kids are going to start going back to school. We all need quick ways on that second and third day to dress the hair up really quickly. And I love using aerosol hairsprays. And what I find is most clients, when they use a aerosol hairspray, we're not telling them how to use it again, right? So what happens is they take the hairspray and they spray it really, really close, and they're like, oh my goodness, it's sticky, I don't like it, it's horrible, right?
Well, back in the 80s, we sprayed and then blow dried to get the crunch.
I love that. It's so funny because a little bit of that's coming back, right? The shag is hot now. I think, us kids that are products of the 80s, it's awesome because a lot of that's coming back.
Yes.
So what I'm going to use next is something called Complete Control Hairspray. I love this hairspray.
Yeah.
The reason I love it is it's super brushable. Mm-hmm. So you can brush it and brush it and brush it. It's humidity resistant, which is super, super awesome.
Great for those Miami people.
That's right, but it also has a matte sheen. It's not super glossy. So I love that because it gets you really, helps you on that second, third day also when you want to restyle your hair.
Yes, to combat the oils in your second day hair. That is so smart.
Okay, so look at this because this is super cool and most people don't know about it. This can, 12 to 14 inches. So as we're spraying our Complete Control hairspray onto the hair, we're gonna be 12 to 14 inches away.
Huh.
If you spray it too close, what happens is you wet the hair and it's harder to work with, right? Mm-hmm. So at Biolage, we have this thing. When we talk about hair types, we talk about them in terms of fabric, and 1 would be silk, 10 would be wool, and then in the middle would be cotton, right? Okay. And that kind of feels like if you feel your collar to like a dress shirt or a jeans jacket, that's what that cottony feel should feel like. So when you're actually putting your hair up, if you can think about that feeling and you kind of brush the spray on and keep evaluating, when the hair feels like that, it's going to be super, super easy to get up, all right? So I brush this into a ponytail, and now I'm going to do something super fun and super cool. What I love to do all my ponytails is I use a rubber band and 2 bobby pins, okay?
Okay.
And so what I do is I stick. And by the way, Jennifer, this is something I never knew until I went shopping for my kids for school supplies. Rubber bands come in numbers, just like pencils, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a number 2, so it has a lot of soft stretch. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stick the bobby pin in one hand, hold it with my hand, wrap the other one around, and wherever I run out of slack, I'm gonna stick it in the other side, all right? And that's gonna give me a quick ponytail. The reason that it looks really easy, though, is because we have all those products in there. So the texture of the hair is the right texture to make it really dress up real quick. Now, this is the coolest thing that I teach all of my clients, how to do a quick little chignon, okay? So all I'm going to do, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take something that I love to use. I use something called Texture Sap. I love it because it's really high sheen. It's a pomade that has some texture to it. I'm going to take a little bit in my hand just to kind of combat all those flyaways. I'm not really worried about how I'm braiding it. I'm going to do a 3-strand braid, but I'm not worried if it's even sections. I don't really care. I don't care about the braid. It's not about the braid. When I get to the end of the 3-strand braid, I'm going to turn it into 2. And then I'm going to go up, over, and then in 2 seconds, look, I'm going to have this cool little chignon.
Look at your little chignon low bun. Can be braided or bunned, but that is beautiful. Any mom could do that. That was so amazing. I mean, I'm thinking of like back to school and stuff when you just need to straighten out that bed head and send your kid out with, looking good. That is great. They can play all day. It's out of their way. That's awesome.
And by the way, ladies, this is a super easy way to teach any husband how to do your daughter's hair in 2 seconds when she's running out the door, right?
And the basic braid, I love that too, because once you have the ponytail, to teach the basic braid that way, especially to your husband helping out, because you want to be able to at some point leave town or, just be able to both be able to do their hair. So that's amazing. You have 3 boys, is that what you told me?
I have 3 adopted boys, and they're luckily I only have to put a little bit of texture sap in their hair, and they're out the door.
Yeah.
Although my youngest, who's 13, is a total blondeaholic, so he's always wanting me to put blonde hair in his hair.
How
You
fun.
know? So he's always. So this is my second little show and tell, okay?
Okay.
So I think a lot of people are wanting to curl hair, right?
Yeah.
And they're wanting to curl hair, and they don't know quite how to do it because they see people curl with a flat iron, and what happens when they're curling with a flat iron is it looks super simple when they see a hairdresser do it, and they don't quite understand why, right?
Right.
So again, like we said before, it's all about the product. So I've already curled this whole head, and the other side, what I did is I took diagonal sections and I started at the bottom, okay? And I just worked my way up.
And you've done all this with a flat iron?
All this with a flat iron. And again, like we were saying about children of the 80s, now I think hair is getting, bigger, fuller, and all of this old supermodel hair that we used to do in the 80s is all like going to be the rage. I think people are ready to get out.
I kind of do it sometimes. I just didn't for the show, but yeah, I definitely like a little bigness in my hair. It's coming back.
It's totally coming back, elegant styling and great styling is coming back, right?
Yes, yes.
I'm going to show you how easy this is going to be. This time I'm going to use Finishing Spritz, which is our stronger aerosol. Think about the type of texture that you have. If you have your more coarse type texture, go to your Thermal Active. If you have fine hair, again, go to Finishing Spritz. And again, look how far away I'm spraying it, okay? The same distance as the length of the bottle. Then I'm going to comb it through, and what happens is, why this looks easy when hairstylists do it, is because guess what that has in it, that Finishing Spritz? It has a little bit of starch, so that it's going to actually give hold. So I'm going to turn my iron over the hair, and then just slowly, slowly, slowly go down the hair, and basically anybody can do this.
So it might be deceptive, but you can see he's continuously moving the iron. He's not holding it in one place. It's just very long hair, but from where we're at, you can see it's definitely going down the shaft.
And then it's going to... And it curls. Amazing. I'm telling you, it's the heat of the iron, right? It's basically blow drying the right product inside the hair to begin with. But this can be your next night out, right? So if you've already styled your hair for that day, you can go and recurl it in the evening with just a couple of curls. Again, like spraying that Finishing Spritz on. I like to heat up the base a little bit, and then I'm just gonna let the iron slowly, slowly go down and let it curl.
And you can see the bend isn't even that much. You're just barely turning it just to get that full curl.
Right. It's about moving the iron simultaneously, but it's really the starch that's allowing it to curl really easy, okay? So the starch is what's making that happen. If you do not have the starch in the product, it's not going to work for you. So if you have coarser hair and you did this same thing with your Thermal Active, because your hair is coarse, it's going to have more texture to it to begin with, and probably it has more of a wave to it. And when your hair is wavier, it has more of what we call a memory. So it's going to want to also curl a lot easier. So let's do this last one, and then I'm going to show you like a little evening style that I super love. It's very like, especially with all the weddings happening right now, right? So we've been out of business.
It's definitely wedding season. Hey, I have a quick question though. Do you ever find that the product makes your iron stick and not smoothly glide over that hair shaft?
So I clean my iron regularly, and a little bit of a trick to that, and I have it right here. Hang on one second. I'm going to grab it, get off camera. This thing is the bomb, okay? So it's by Hydrosource. And it's our daily moisture mist, and if you just lightly spray it onto your iron and wipe it with a towel, it's going to come off in 2 seconds. The other thing is, if Dad's doing the daughter's hair and she hates it, that's a go-to product for him also, because if I sprayed this with that product, I could easily brush it out and restyle it.
Reset, yeah. It's your reset product. But great point. Definitely clean your irons for if you start to see any kind of buildup on them, you've gone too long without cleaning them.
Yes. And then this is one of my go-to things for curl. I like to use a really wide tooth comb, and I'll just comb through it really lightly.
Yes.
And then let's actually dress her up into a style, okay? So now we have this really, really fun, great curl that's happening.
I love
right?
that. It's such a modern curl too with the loose ends. So back in the 80s, we would start at the end and wrap up and our ends were really tight, but now a more modern curl, how he's done it is the ends kind of go a little bit more free, and I love that. It looks so beautiful.
Listen, I grew up with a gorgeous, gorgeous sister who was modeling at the time. And back in those days, they didn't have hairdressers. They did their own hair running out to the fashion show. So she lived in something called sponge rollers, right?
I just did sponge rollers. That's so funny on my daughter. It's hard being an 80s mom, and then you have that your next generation, they wanted very flat hair. So every time I curled, she would probably want the Hydrosource to spray it down and tame it down a little bit.
Yeah. But this is fun, and this is also like, it's relevant because it's kind of 80s too, because of these great long side bangs, right?
Yeah, it's that Farrah Fawcett angel look.
Just push it back. So now let's dress this up. So like, let's say you went out that day, it's super cool, and you have to go to a wedding. You don't want your hair to be teased or back combed or anything like that. This is a great, great way to do this, is just take the ends of your hair, and it doesn't matter where you take them. You can do it where you can do it from the side of your head. I'm gonna do it from the back.
We're a little bit off camera. Can you bring us over just a tiny bit? Because I want to see. Perfect. Yeah, awesome.
Okay. So all I'm doing is I'm taking the last 4 inches and I'm braiding them again into a 3-strand braid. And the braid is going to give me some bulk so that when I go to pin the hair, it's going to be really effortless to pin it. Once I've got this 3-strand braid, all I'm going to do is roll it up into the base of the hair, into your nape. And I'm going to take some long bobby pins. One little tip I can teach you is that bobby pins are only meant to take as much as in that little hole that's at the top of the bobby pin. Because a lot of times what people do is they end up opening the bobby pin when they're trying to put masses of hair up, and it's going to fall right out because it weakens the bobby pin. So I'm going to take another one on the other side, and I'm just going to pin it in. And then it pins this up into a great little bob shape that's kind of really fun. Instead of having your hair up into a really, really strong updo, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to go in with our Complete Control hairspray, and just now we can kind of mold it, you know what I mean? But we want to remember that we're going to stay 12 to 14 inches away as we spray it, right? And then if she wants to dance the night away, we can go in with our other spray, which is our Freeze Fix, and just give it a final polish with that. It's going to hold like a rock. Now, both of these hairsprays, Jennifer, are both brushable, okay? That is super, super great, because what happens is that if I have soft, coarser hair, I might want to go with my Complete Control. If I have finer hair and I need to build the texture up, I'm going to go with my Freeze Fix. Good?
Good.
Both,
Good.
Both,
but a soft brushable hole. That really clears up how to use those 2 sprays. That's awesome. And that's beautiful. What a great, it almost doesn't even look like an updo. It almost looks like she just got a whole new hair look. That's beautiful.
And I think that that's great, you know, like, and especially thinking of, like, if you are a bride out there, it's a great way to wear your hair down curly and then pop it up in 2 seconds when you want to boogie the night away and you don't want your hair to come out looking frizzy, right?
Yeah, just as you start to get a little sweaty, you just tuck it right up, and how you got a whole nother look. That's so exciting.
Yeah.
Very practical ways that you can really style hair. I'm enjoying this very much, Michael. You are an artiste.
Oh, thank you so much. You are too. I was telling you earlier, you're like one of my mother's favorite people now because she read your bio, and I told you she worked at NASA, and I don't know how many people on your site know that you're a pilot, but I think it's super, super cool. So I'm
Yeah, hair
honored.
and air. Me and your mom, right? Hair and air.
That's right, hair and hair. She constantly sends me new pictures and new ideas of hair styles that I should be doing, right? Always a mom. So the next thing that I want to talk to you guys about is curly hair because right now, like just going back to the 80s, right? Natural curl is everything. People are really wanting to wear your natural texture. If you have natural texture, like really pay attention to this. So I've already diffused most of this head. Let me get over here so you can see. So I've diffused this whole side, but I haven't this side. So I want to just show you how I do that really quickly. And I am telling you, we have at Biolage the best curl cream out there, okay? It's a gel, it's awesome. You
So
guys are gonna
diffusing is a process of blow drying. So one side of the hair is somewhat drier, and that's why it's fuller, and the other side is wet, correct?
Right. I've left this little section out because I really want to show you guys how to do this. I'm using something called Curl Defining Elixir. It is literally the bomb.
We
Because
sell so much of this product. It is a cult favorite. They love this product.
it's crazy, crazy, crazy good. And what you want to do when you're using it, when you're using hair products for curl, you want to use twice as much product as you do when you're using products for straighter hair, right?
Curly hair
So
is a sponge. It just
it's a
soaks it
sponge.
up.
So on this section, I've combed it out and I've made it evenly wet with a spray bottle. So on evenly wet hair, you want to put a good amount of your curl defining elixir.
Emulsify, you see that? We always teach that on this show for consumers.
Emulsify, and I get crazy with it, okay? Because it's hard to really even teach consumers how, like, it's really emulsify. I go in with a fine-tooth comb, okay? Because
To really
anywhere,
dispense.
yeah, because anywhere you don't get product, your hair is going to revert back to frizz.
Right.
So I want to make sure that I'm combing it from scalp to ends, everywhere, 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 okay?
Super
And then
even
what-
distribution there. That's amazing.
And curl has a memory, right? So I think a lot of people with curly hair, you guys with curly hair, what happens is that you think if you comb your hair, it's gonna get frizzy, but it's actually gonna separate all of the curl. And then I'll start going in with my bigger combs and I'll comb it out with a bigger comb to start loosening the texture. And then I'm gonna scrunch it only while it's wet to give it back its original curl formation. Okay,
The memory comes right back. Now, I mean, this once again brings me kind of back to the 80s and our perms, which I'm seeing a lot more perms in the salon again. I don't know if you are, but I'm sure you are. Is this just as good for permed hair?
It's so great for permed hair, and I feel like now I'm aging myself, but I used to do 7 to 10 perms a day in the salon.
Yep.
And it's funny because at that time I would make $10 for a highlight, but $15 for a perm. So it can, you can tell how times have changed, right?
Yeah.
So it's super great for permed hair too. And what I'm doing here though, you know how you have those light, fine hairs right around your hairline? If you take them and kind of pinch the base and gather more of them together, just wrap them around your finger and it will clump more hair together. Because what curl is, and it's important to know this for consumers, curl is a bunch of hair together that forms an S pattern. So the more single hairs that you see in the hair, the more frizz you're gonna see. So I'm gonna talk really loud so you can hear me, but basically what I have is I have my
diffuser,
blow dryer. I'm using a cup diffuser on it, okay?
Yes.
So a cup diffuser basically is just what it says as a cup, and it has these fingers. At this point, I'm not going to touch the hair. I'm just gonna let the hair curl up in there, and I'm gonna let it dry. So when we talk about doing curl back in the old days, we didn't have these amazing, amazing products like curl defining elixir. which leaves the hair soft and pliable, even though it has hold. And consumers get really kind of scared because they think, oh, is it going to be crunchy and hard? You want the curl to clump. You don't want it to get hard. And that's what Curl Defining Elixir does from Biolage, is it makes it clump. And then you want to dry it completely. So even if you only diffuse it for 4 minutes and let it dry the rest of the way completely, it really, really doesn't matter. You can let it dry totally natural and not diffuse it at all. But you don't want to touch it until it's completely dry so that it doesn't, you don't get more frizz.
So if you keep doing this as it's wet, you're breaking up all those curl families that you've just created. And we talk about curl families, is they're the clusters that need to go together to keep them smooth. And once you break out of those clusters or you break that crunch up too prematurely, you end up with that frizz back, right?
Totally, right? So it's just like our grandmothers, you know, under a dryer with rollers, right? If they came out too early, that hair is going to collapse, it's going to frizz, and it's not going to stay in the same format that you want it to. So you want it to do that, but you can see really, really easily how this is so great because it's really, really getting curly really effortlessly, right? And that's what Biolage is all about. It's about systems to make it effortless to style hair.
And now, so many consumers don't understand the proper way to diffuse, because I do see a lot of people still putting it on the end of the blow dryer and still doing this, right? And it's still, the blow dryer is out here and you had it's cupping the hair. I love that technique, showing that, because I don't think a lot of consumers really understand the proper way to diffuse hair.
I don't think they do either. So one tip too that I can tell them is, now when I'm starting to loosen up the curl, now that it's totally set. So when we think about that roller set under the dryer, the curls would spin back to the head and then we would brush it and it would get soft and then we'd style it, right? Same thing with curl. So we don't want to manipulate the ends of the hair yet, the mid shaft to ends, where you're going to go in with your hand and just loosen it up right at the scalp. Like just really loosen it up. Give yourself a nice
scalp massage.
You know what I mean? Everybody loves a scalp massage. And then this is the other trick. Now we're going to start manipulating and softening the ends. I'm going to go back in with my texture shaft because that has moisture and a little bit of hold. And I'm going to just take a little pea-sized amount of it, and I'm going to start breaking up and manipulating the ends of the hair. So anytime you're manipulating curl, you want to go in with a pomade or a texturizer that has moisture, like Texture Sap, so that you can keep working and working that hair. But I love, love natural curly hair. And I hope everybody out there, if you have curl, try this. You're gonna love Curl Defining Elixir. It's just fun, 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 fun.
So I have that kind of blended curled hair where I have a good curly section in the back, but my sides aren't quite as curly. And I have to say the Curl Defining Elixir will actually even out my curl tone. So if I just apply it like you said and really distribute, even my sides will kind of grab that wave and give me that like beachy wave. So I encourage, it doesn't have to even be as curly as the doll's hair was. You can have a wave and still love this product.
Right, and the wave is awesome, right? Because that's kind of like going back to what's really in fashion right now, what's really in editorial too, is having that wave and some of those shag type feeling haircuts that are really PC and flyaway and romantic. And
we're
it's
all
going to give you that.
embracing our texture. Instead of trying to go super sleek or super curled, like just let your texture go and show a little bit of your boho uneven waves. It's great.
So I thought that would be fun for you. Did you think, I hope I hope that they're messaging in that they got some great tips about how to use some style aids, right?
It was so fun.
So I'm going to go in a little bit to, let's talk a little bit about our color bombs. Can we talk a little bit about our color bombs?
I would love that. Yes, I have some of them here, and I'm so interested in the colors. I feel like you guys have really driven home a natural tones and really applicable to most hair types. And so many of these are going so crazy, but I love these. And your names, cinnamon and saffron red, they're beautiful. So yeah, let's talk.
Like this one that I did before, like a lot of people love this color. And this is our chai tea that I used as a toner. We balayaged the front and we used our chai tea. This one is fun because we used our lavender on it. So it was blonde hair that we used our lavender on. And we used our lavender on it straight at the base of the head.
Ooh.
And then we diluted it. So what's really great about any of the color bombs is you can mix any of them to basically make them a softer shade, right? So on the base, straight, we have our lavender, but on the ends, we added clear to it, and it's like the bomb. It's like one of those colors that all the young girls are trying to get, this beautiful, beautiful, soft, iridescent lavender. Same thing also with our saffron red, right? So you saw our saffron red here. So what's great about it is when you're leaving the salon, if you use the saffron red at home, your hair color is not going to fade. So you're not going to have to keep applying color to the ends of the hair. You can just keep using your color bomb and your red poppy to keep that really, really vibrant tone. And
so
then I love
from red poppy's hair to saffron's hair, it looks like what a lot of clients look like after coming back to the salon if they aren't using, that fadage happens from those two reds. You leave the salon looking like this and you come back 8 weeks later looking like this. But if you want to save that red, that's amazing. You can use these at home.
Right, and then this one is like the bomb. Look at this pink. I love this pink. So this is just a pea of red poppy with clear.
Lots and so how light is their hair when you're depositing it?
So this one is what we call a level 9. It's really, really soft. I've had a lot of fun with making the pinks because, as we know,
so a lot level of the 9 is somewhat close to my ends. Not super bright, but yeah, not super white.
For sure. And this is a key, too, for all the parents who are, like, stressing out because all of their young girls want to add tips in a certain shade. This is a great way to do it on the tips of their hair and allow them to have that little bit of pink for the rest of the summer or a little bit of violet. Then we also have a cinnamon that's to die for. It's a brunette, and that will keep all of those brunette shades really, really vibrant for all of that time. And then we also have an Earl Grey for all of those clients that are trying to keep cooler toned hair with their highlights, and they can use that at home. And clear is the most amazing color. You definitely have to go home and try clear, Jennifer, and tell me what you think, because it's so hard to get vibrancy and shine on blonde hair, right? That's been compromised by highlighting over and over.
Yep.
The shine from the clear is like amazing. I can't even tell you how amazing. And also to like those more porous textures, you're going to get amazing shine just by using clear at home. You're going to love it because most people, what do we want is shiny, healthy looking hair, and that's what Biolage is all about.
Absolutely, and so that clear would even be great on most curly haired people who are struggling with getting enough moisture and shine, or really bleached hair like mine,
sure.
Like you said.
Why the moisture? Because it makes your hair immediately 5 times more moisturized. It is like the conditioning is phenomenal. People are gonna just be crazy about it. They're gonna love it.
Okay, Michael, well, we're at the coming to the end, and we definitely need to now show what is new. What just came out that we are loving, and it actually was listed on Michael's page, is his product he cannot live without.
Well, I have a few. I have 3 new ones that are products I can't live without right now, and I want to tell you the whys, okay? We have our all-in-one, so for all of you clients that have textured hair or compromised hair from highlighting, it has 25 benefits. It's amazing. It is literally the most hydrating thing on the market. It starts with water in the ingredients, and it's going to help lock in the moisture into your hair. So even before I use that blow-dry lotion or I use any type of foam, I can spray the hair with this. Also to reactivate hair, like to reactivate curl, or just because you need a little bit of extra moisture and health to the hair. The all-in-one is the bomb. My dear friend Danielle Kiesling, that I think maybe you've worked with before, she loves to spray it in her hair, and then she'll braid the sides and let it dry, and it's just gorgeous. So the all-in-one is fantastic. Then we have our new coconut infusion, our new scrub, and the scrubs are like really. The shampoo scrubs are like so hot right now.
Yeah.
But what's amazing is that this one uses oatmeal, which is really, really soft. And I think, I know, Jennifer, you talk about this a lot on your shows. When you start with a really healthy scalp, you're going to have healthier hair.
Yeah.
And I think that we forget that the scalp is skin, right? So dermatologically, we need to actually kind of get off that dead skin and kind of release the scalp so it can get moisture back into it.
And to keep those follicles so healthy and growing. Otherwise, you can get them clogged and start with hair loss.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, having 3 boys at home, you got to lock this up because they love this because it is the best body scrub out there. Like, they love it. So it can be used on your scalp as well as your body. And just remember to go back in after you use it. When we exfoliate our skin, we need to go back in and moisturize the scalp. So remember to go in with something in the Hydrosource line, like the Hydrosource Balm, and really get it on your scalp, get that moisture back in there so that you're first kind of getting all the bad stuff off and exfoliating and then moisturizing after, just like you would do on your face or any of your body, right?
Absolutely. So on trend with the skin to hair combination, like your skin, like you say, or your scalp is just an extension of your skin. So I love that Biolage has found this product.
It's the bomb. You're gonna love it. I can't wait for you to try it. Then our next product is a dry shampoo, right? So there's a lot of dry shampoos out there, but what I love about the Biolage one is a lot of times, like, I watch all of the, I have 25 young ladies that work with me. I know you have quite a few also. Yes. And I've watched them go through the dry shampoos. And it's kind of like we were talking about the flat iron and going over and over in the hair and learning how the proper way to use a product is. So one of the things that I learned about dry shampoos recently is that this one, we call it intense. And so a lot of people are really afraid because when they use dry shampoos, they see like a white film up there. That's okay. It's knowing how to use the product so that it pushes into the hair. But what I love about the ones that are intense instead of weak is that you don't have to keep spraying and spraying and spraying them into the hair to get what you want the dry shampoo to do, which is to cleanse the hair and take away some of the oil so that you can easily wear that hair. So anytime we're using it, we're going to use it in small spritzes, and it's going to be, guess what, the same length as the bottle away from the hair. Now we're going to get, you will get like a soft, sometimes white film. Just push it in with your hand like this, and it dissipates in seconds. But you can tell how full this is making this. It takes it to that immediately without having to go over it and over it and over it again. The other thing that I'll tell people about the dry shampoo is to also hit it with a blow dryer afterwards because we forget, right? And the blow dryer is going to push that product through the hair and make it easily take all of the oil and cleanse the hair out. And you can see how full this is now just by taking the oil. I put a little oil at her scalp earlier on, but look at the volume that you're getting in a second. Yes. And see any film at all. See? Yeah. So perfect way to really just also utilize this and remember that the fragrance is amazing. It's our iconic Biolage fragrance, which is mandarin rose and sandalwood.
It's beautiful. And I'm a dry shampoo fiend myself because as your hair, second or third day hair, especially if you do a root melt, kind of your darker roots, they get a little more oily, a little more shiny. So I appreciate the white that kind of tones down and blends back out your root to a fresh shampoo. And probably only us that are really into dry shampoos understands what I just said. It does work. Right, there's a purpose for the white.
You're using it to get a little bling. I get it.
Absolutely.
But just so you know, like that's how dry shampoos work. And what's great about the Biolage one is it is strong. So it's going to be able to give you what you want immediately.
Yeah.
And then hit it with your blow dryer. It's going to dissipate into the hair and it's just going to work perfectly.
Well, I think, Michael, you were absolutely on target that the demos were the hit, because I stayed entertained the whole show, and you really honestly showed us some applicable things that we can do at home, either on ourselves, on our kids, or on our friends for a good night out. So how fun, and a new wedding style. So thank you so much for all of your knowledge today. If anyone wants to find out more about Michael, he is out on Instagram at Michael Albor Hair. Look at his work. He actually teaches around the world and shows off his talents, and you're amazing. I really enjoyed having you today.
Oh, listen, thank you so much. Thank you, Beauty Care Choices. It's just been my pleasure working with you, Jennifer, and I hope you'll have me back sometime soon.
Absolutely. Anytime. We would love to have you back. Next time, I'll bring my flat iron and follow along. So that would be a fun show.
That would be a blast. Let's do it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you so much, Michael. It's been a pleasure. Have a great weekend.
All right, you too. Bye-bye, all.
He was great, and I think we'll do more demos on the show. I think Michael was right. It's fun when you're actually learning, as well as seeing, we at Beauty Care Choices like to talk about ingredients and where products are headed, and so it's cool to see Biolage coming out with some new progressive products as well. So remember, all of our stylists or all of our customer service agents are licensed stylists, and you can reach them at the number below. They follow along and learn education, as well as all of you through watching our shows. So if you have any more questions, feel free to reach out, and have a great weekend. Bye for now.